On location from the 2026 RRC Regulatory Conference, we're keeping Texas Energy on track. Here's your host, Bryce Doobie.
Welcome to Texas Energy on Track, the official podcast of the Railroad Commission of Texas. I am your host, Bryce Doobie. And before I kick it over to my co-host here, Nick, you may notice we've got a little bit of background sound today, and that is because we are live on location at the Kalahari Resort and Convention Center for our annual Railroad Commission Regulatory Conference.
Yeah, this is nice. It's nice to get out of the William B. Travis building. This is the first time we've actually ever gone on location, and everything works. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little, if folks could see us right now, we're kind of in a weird little visitor's booth just in the main expo hall area. Folks are milling about outside, talking, networking, things like that, and we're just kind of a little bit rigged up unconventionally from our normal setup, but hopefully it sounds well for folks out there. It sounds good to me on this end.
Yeah, it's a fishbowl. It's like we're just sitting here swimming around. We're here for everybody else. They're sitting here watching us, and it's fun.
But one of the very cool things and why we're actually doing this is because the regulatory conference brings in folks from all across the commission, from all across the oil and gas and energy industries, and that is why today we're actually doing something slightly different. We're bringing in just a selection of folks who are here visiting from different sectors, different spaces, and things like that. And today we are thrilled to first be joined by Heather Taylor. Ma'am, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are with, who you're representing, and just a little bit about your professional background.
I've been in the oil and gas industry for about 25 years. I've worked in various sectors, primarily all in the unconventional business, drilling and completion operations. I currently work for ExxonMobil, been there about 2 years. And prior to that, I was with Pioneer Natural Resources for 15. In addition to that, there was a small stint that I worked with Chesapeake Energy, where I obtained municipal permits from them during the Barnett Shale days. So I've kind of been on the forefront of the unconventional business for quite some time.
And for listeners out there, and myself included, when you say unconventional, what do you mean there?
Yeah, it's the shale plays. So you think of Permian Basin, a lot of the activities and the fracture stimulations that we're doing are in this very hard rock. And so they're called unconventional rocks. And so those are the types of things that we're going after.
Love learning a new thing every time we do these episodes, so thank you for that. Because there's a lot of technical terms that I am still very unfamiliar with. So like hearing all those things so I can next episode go, oh, I know what you're talking about. With your role, you said with ExxonMobil, what sort of work do you do on the permitting side? Explain a little bit about your job.
Sure. I am the senior regulatory manager. I'm in charge of all the drilling and completion operations in the state of Texas. So my team acquires drilling permits, and then they ensure the wells are drilled, completed, and fracture stimulated according to the regulations. So there is a compliance side to that as well.
And I guess to bring that around on our side, that ties into why you would be here at the regulatory conference. I would imagine there's a very big piece of kind of what's going on with all of that for bringing you out here for this event.
Yeah, that's right. Like I come to this event every year just for networking opportunities with Railroad Commission staff to talk about any kind of complex problems that we're encountering, as well as partnering with our industry partners. There's a lot of complex things going on in our industry that we're trying to solve, and so this is a common place where we can all gather to kind of talk about those issues openly and try to resolve them.
Because I would imagine just something that you've seen just with your experience, there has been a significant evolution over the years in all of this and how some of these regulatory processes and things like that have changed.
Yeah, there's been, every year we're updating rules and regulations to meet the technologies that we're doing in the field. And Railroad Commission staff is eager to learn about those technologies. It's a really, really good relationship, probably one of the best that I've ever encountered.
One thing that really jumped out at me, and you've been to a bunch of these, you said, over the years, when you look at the schedule, there are so many different, I'm just looking at it right now in front of me, I wish we had visual aids, but it's an audio medium. There are so many different breakout sessions on so many different things. Are there any that you've either attended or that you've got on your list that you're like, ooh, that I need to make sure I'm here for that one, or oh, that was the one that was important for me to be here for?
Yeah, I think the critical infrastructure department is always top of mind. Produced water and inactive wells are kind of the most challenging things that the industry is under. So those are the things outside of my scope that I've been trying to influence and work and kind of learn and inject more about, as well as Class 6 wells. Railroad Commission just received primacy over those, so we're trying to learn and understand the process associated with that.
Yeah, I know that's been a really big topic just when we worked on all of that last year with the primacy announcements and things. So it's been interesting to see the level of interest that is out there from the public, from industry, from just all the different stakeholders on it. Speaking a little bit to the networking side of things, I mean, what would you tell other industry folks out there who maybe haven't attended one of these before, something like that? What do you get out of this that you would maybe encourage other folks to?
Yeah, I would say be curious, ask questions, be willing to learn something different that you normally don't deal with on a day in and day out basis. And don't be afraid to go up and introduce yourself to Railroad Commission staff, to other industry peers, and engage in some of the activities that we've got here.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We really appreciate you stopping by to chat with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or anything else you'd want to share about your experience so far this week?
No, it's been absolutely wonderful. I love the new sessions. I love this new venue. I love seeing this grow year after year. Like, I think there's over 1,100 attendees here. I think when I first started, there was maybe 150, 200 attendees. Like, I've been in this a long time. So just to see the evolution of this and reconnecting all of our relationships with people, it's been great.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
And we are back with another guest here at the 2026 Railroad Commission of Texas Regulatory Conference. We're joined by Joey Bass. Sir, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Now, just for listeners out there, before we get too much into your experiences here, tell us a little about yourself. Where are you coming in from? What's your role with the RRC?
Joey Bass, been with the RRC for 20 years. My role is Director of Operations and Analytics with the Pipeline Safety Division.
For pipeline safety. And,
Yes,
where are you located here in the state?
East Texas.
East Texas. Okay. How many times have you attended this conference?
15.
15. Okay, so there has been, I know we talked a little bit about it with some other guests. There used to be two conferences. We would do oil and gas, and pipeline safety had its own. It's all kind of come together, bigger, better. How have you really seen it change over time?
The attendance as well as the just the professionalism. This conference here with the Kalahari is phenomenal. It allows a plethora of crossover. When we did the TGA or independent, we didn't get the operators, we didn't get the gathering operators, we didn't get a lot of questions that we get now. And since they've expanded a lot of federal rules, we have different types of classifications of pipelines, and not everybody is a transmission operator. Not everybody is a specific distribution operator. So it allows that opportunity for people that 360 in the oil field. And when they leave out, it gives them an opportunity to come talk to us, come talk to T4, come talk to oil and gas, all at the same time. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, we've heard that from some of the other guests, like being able to see everybody here.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned federal partners, too. I just came out of a session with NTSB a little bit ago.
Yes, sir.
Really interesting to see their perspectives. I know PHMSA is here. We've got all sorts of different folks from across the spectrum, so
yes,
it is real beneficial.
Very much so.
You also mentioned attendance. I mean, this seems like it's a really good opportunity to network, meet with people who you may only see through email, phone call, things like that. How has that been for y'all?
It's awesome for me because they all know me, so they'll walk up and they'll start talking. But people change over 20 years. So it's one of those things where you get to catch up with operators and as well as their counterparts, because you may not talk to specifically me anymore. You may talk to one of my leads. You may talk to one of my managers. You may talk to another, a given inspector. This opportunity, in my opinion, is phenomenal. The only thing I wish they would do it is more than once a year.
Have you had a chance to listen in on any panels or anything that's really jumped out to you, or how's your experience been as far as some of those sessions?
All the sessions are beneficial. There's information depending on whatever it is that you're wanting to. And as far as like me, I go in, my staff does a lot. So I try to sit in on each one of them and basically, hear what the questions are from the actual operators. We try to hedge that as much as we can in the field throughout the year. If we're getting several questions in one area, let's make that a PowerPoint presentation. Let's make sure that we follow up on whatever given topic it may be. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a new regulation on the federal side, or it's going to be something that's unbeknownst to a given operator. Like I said, just new regulations is the main, what they want to hear, and they want to kind of hear the layman's version of it. They want to know the common sense version of the reasons of why.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking here at the schedule, it's all color-coded and broken down. I mean, it's everything from construction issues to do you need a T4 pipeline permit? I mean, just there's 2 whole columns just for pipeline safety for folks attending, and it's the hard truths of incident response. Like all it really just runs the gamut.
Yes, sir. Our rule book, if you printed it out on a federal level, if you printed out our rule book, you're looking at something that's about 4 foot tall. So front and back, with all incorporated references, you're talking about 4 foot. Now that encompasses all. So that's gathering all the way around the transmission, all the way around the natural gas, all the gases, 192 and 195 with all the liquids. So when you have a 4.5 foot rule book, this is an excellent opportunity for any and all to basically get their specific of the specific of that 4.5 foot.
You've got that chance to be like, hey, I've got a question. We did this thing here in my situation. What does that mean for me? And you can straight from the horse's mouth.
Yes, sir. And the beautiful thing about this, Way, our executive director, allows us to bring the qualified staff that specializes in each part of that given 4.5 foot rule book. If you ask me a question, sure, give me a second. I've got to go and I've got to actually do some study to answer your specific question. Versus you bring in someone like Justin Markham. Justin's going to have it, underground storage. This is what Justin does 24/7, 7 days a week. He can ask you your questions. So I would say it's kudos to our leadership that allow the opportunity for us to bring the staff and the staffing that specialize in those specific questions.
Now, what would you tell somebody who is out there in this space who hasn't attended before? Like you said, you've been doing these for 15 years now, and they've this sounds interesting. I know these folks have been going to it. I hear these types of things. What would be your kind of push for like a final sales pitch? Like, what do you think you get out of it that's like the big sell?
You miss the opportunity. And it's those little opportunities, that one-on-one opportunity. You miss the opportunity to hear why you need a T4. You miss the opportunity of the new regulations. You miss those opportunities. So when you miss that opportunity, you're that much further behind. And getting that much further behind could be a public safety issue, but it also can be a civil issue, and it could end up in a penalty issue. And the operator's responsible for operating that pipeline to the minimum standards of 192 and 195. It's in their best interest to attend any and all trainings to basically keep themselves coherent of the actual code and laws that are enforced today.
Couldn't say it any better, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking some time to talk with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome meeting you.
You too. All right, we are back here with our next guest here at the Railroad Commission's 2026 Regulatory Conference. We are joined by Jake Talasso. Sir, how are you doing today?
Hey, guys, I'm doing great. I'm happy to join y'all for a chat here and to be at the conference, which has become one of my favorite of the year, and because I can see the water park right here from where we sit. Who doesn't love that sort of fun?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing we've heard from some other folks talking, it is nice having this new venue. I don't know if you had been to previous conferences or not in the past, and there's been kind of a change from what I understand.
So this is my second trip to the conference, and so I've been here for both years at Kalahari. I spent 20 years as a landman is my background, and I work at Repsol Oil and Gas based in the Woodlands. Now I do government and regulatory affairs, and so I've left the land world behind. Though there are some panels that should be interesting for landmen. Now that I'm in this government relations role, I've been able to come back 2 times, and I can't wait for next year as well.
Gotcha. I mean, you mentioned with some of these panels, is there anything, came out of one with the NTSB I found real interesting. What are some of the things that jumped out to you that you've had a chance to listen in on?
Well, so we just got to hear Todd Staples from the Texoga, and I could listen to Todd speak all day. He's a leader and for the industry and in the trades there. And so I always enjoy listening to Todd, and Chairman Wright, of course, has been speaking and kind of emceeing. So it's been great to see those guys and hear them in person. This morning's confirmation bias programming, a little psychology, a little workplace behavioral topics going on there, I think are critical to avoiding incidents and being prepared for those that do arise. So that's been interesting.
I mean, and I think that kind of speaks to it. In addition to all these panels and things, I mean, the networking here, being able to talk to other folks, other stakeholders, really valuable.
It really is invaluable, especially because we've got relationships with folks at the Railroad Commission that we speak to in emails and we speak to in our form submissions and phone calls sometimes. But to be able to sit down or even stand and have a coffee and smile in each other's face and know that we're all working towards the same sort of goals and we're a big team. It's real helpful to not only have a good time while we're here, but to get the work done when we get back to the office next week.
For someone who might be listening to this and they're in the industry and they're like, I haven't been to one of these, like it sounds like what would you recommend for them? Anybody
on your team that's has any permitting responsibilities, any safety and environment responsibilities, I think it's critical that you send your folks to the conference here. I didn't even know how many of these different departments the Railroad Commission had until I got here, and I'm looking out across the hallway here, and all of their divisions. And education is very valuable. So the connection is great, but the education is fantastic. So anybody that's got a company with these sorts of functions, I think it's imperative that your folks are here. Just to give, our listeners a kind of sense of the scope where we are, we're in kind of a broader expo hall area right now. I'm looking out, I see underground injection control, I see Class 6 has a table, 811's right next to us, there's some surveyors next to us as a vendor. I see another one of our oil and gas district offices. There's all sorts of folks representing here, not just at the Railroad Commission. There's a whole other space next door with exhibitors that I kind of poked my head in and was like, oh, there's a lot going on in there. It seems like there's something for everybody. There's something for everybody, and it's growing over last year, and I suspect next year will be even bigger. And I'm looking at the Class 6 thing, that we discussed. We've got a carbon capture project that we're working on. And so being able to speak with those folks as we get towards maturation of those efforts down at Corpus Christi, it's just invaluable. Well, I appreciate your insight and your time. I know this is a busy schedule for you. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Well, I just thank you to Executive Director Wei Wang and his team. They're just professionals through and through, and we couldn't do our jobs without them, and they couldn't do their jobs without us. And so I'm happy to be here with everybody and hope to see more smiling faces again next year. Thank you, sir. Have a great rest of your trip. All right. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to keep this train moving right along here with our next guest. We are right in the thick of it right now with the annual Railroad Commission of Texas Regulatory Conference here at Kalahari. We are joined by Rafael Navas. You are the Public Outreach Manager with the Office of Public Engagement. But for the purposes of today with the Regulatory Conference, we're going to talk about your role in making this whole thing kind of come together. So thanks for joining us again as a repeat guest.
Thanks for having me. We've been here for about a day and a half now of conference and sessions. At this point, everything's running smoothly. Everybody know where they need to be. Sessions are running along, so we're having a good time.
I can definitely, again, this is an audio medium. You look like you've been running a million miles an hour right now.
Yes.
Because I think one thing that folks necessarily, you get in here and you see it all, and we've got so many exhibitors, we've got so many breakout sessions. I've been looking at this chart. There's so many moving parts to all of this. How long is this planning process? When did you get started on the 2026 conference?
So as soon as 2025 ended, or regulatory conference ended in 2025, we take a quick break and we kind of never stop. We kind of it's a short break, but we're already thinking what's going to happen for 2026. We've been taking notes throughout the conference to see how we can improve for next year. So we're already taking notes and preparing for the following year. On the last year, we were blessed by having the opportunity to kind of redo the contract and be able to be here once again. So we kind of knew we were going to be here. It was just a matter of the logistics being, signed and be completed. To answer your question, we never stop, really. It's just an ongoing process. It's more of a whenever we take a short break, but we never really stop working towards the conference. Either we're preparing the logistics of it, or we preparing speakers. We are preparing or doing the outreach portion for speakers, exhibitors, sponsors, looking for the venue, and looking for any other, like this year we have the app. So that's a long process, and we're really enjoying that portion.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it alone, I'm thinking with all these breakout sessions, how many do we think we have here?
93 sessions.
93 sessions. So that
Yes.
is 93 speakers that you have to arrange for 93 slide presentations?
Yes, so yes and no. We do have some of the sessions are breakout sessions or VIP speaking up front that we don't really get into their presentation. But yes, the majority of them, about 70 presentations, are all PowerPoints that I have to review, make sure they are in the right spot for when they get here. It's a click and play pretty much.
So, but that's months of work.
Correct, yes. And we do it in a short amount of time. So we start the process of asking who would like to speak. We send out the call for presentations, which I get a lot of help from different people in the field to do some outreach to different operators and FEMSA, different organizations who would like to speak here. They send us, and me and the committee will sit down and review all those call for presentations, and we decide which sessions are we going to go with. So this year we received over 100 call for presentations. Unfortunately, we did not have the time for them to participate this year, but that's something that we definitely would like to consider for next year.
Yeah, because I know, again, looking at the schedule, it's really broken up because this is that sort of combined. Previously, years ago, it was oil and gas and pipeline safety were their own different events. But now if you came in here and this was your first year going, or you're thinking about coming next year, you really do have to look through that schedule and plan it out, because it's almost like going to like a comic convention type thing where it's like, well, I need to make it to this panel, but I want to get to this thing as well, but I want to get to this. So there's like federal partners. We've got specific things about rulemaking and stuff happening from like the regulatory side from the agency, instructional, panels on, hey, here's how you can file a discrepancy-free PRs online. There's all sorts of different things for all sorts of different audiences, which I think is super cool.
Yes, and the good thing about it is this year is the first year we do a full regulatory conference where we have all the regulatory divisions here. Everybody's represented here. Right now we're having a pretty cool session about the drone program. And so me sitting down and having to review and do rehearsals with these people, that's one that really interested me. When I came in to work for the agency, I knew about the program, right? But I had no idea everything that it did within that program. So seeing how it evolved from just doing inspections, which it could take many hours of the day, down to 15, 20 minutes with a drone, right? That's pretty interesting to me.
Because I know, again, some of these things are also those refreshers and things that folks come back for. They might have operators with new folks in their organization, and they might say, come to the regulatory conference, sit in that class, learn about how you can do those filings, things like that. So there's all that kind of just regular important information for folks, as well as some of these really cool new things.
Correct. And for me as an outreach manager, right, my main goal is to connect with all these people here. Just because within my responsibility is just making sure the public knows who we are, what we do, and what we can do for them. And although they are here, they know who we are. For the most part, they're good to go, but they may have new employees, or they may do outreach to different communities that they're like, hey, we can bring the Railroad Commission with us. And we can definitely tag along and fulfill our mission with that small community. Just
being here as more of a casual attendee, it is really, the operation that goes into all of this is super cool. There's so many exhibitors. There's so much stuff happening. So the work that y'all do year-round really is present in all this. We do appreciate that. I know your schedule is a little tight, and we appreciate you stopping by to talk to us today. I will let you get back to it. I'm also going to wish you a happy weekend, I think, coming up. I think once you get to the tail end of this, you're hopefully going to sleep in on Saturday.
I'm going to try. I have 3 little ones, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, Rafael, thank you as always. We'll probably talk to you again soon at some point.
All right. Thank you for having me.
So, Nick, first of all, I want to jump in and just thank you for lugging all this equipment out here today and making this whole thing happen. We had a whole bunch of different guests, brought in a bunch of very interesting perspectives. I think this is only my second one of these. I don't know how it was in previous times or things like that, but it seems like folks are really enjoying themselves and learning a lot. Like, again, if anyone out there is listening, gets a chance to go to our website, take a look at what's on the schedule of events for these things. This is a dense program of a lot of different panels covering a lot of different topics.
Yeah, it's a full day, especially when we're recording here on day 2. It is really full. It's really busy. A lot of information. It's impressive, the people that we have here, and then all the information that you get. I think it really helps them. And the feedback that we've been getting from people has been positive, and going out, when they go back to their jobs, it's a lot that they can learn, especially a lot with some of the rule changes and things that can happen year by year.
And I just was, again, glancing over the schedule and things. Literally, there was a panel just on PHMSA Periodic Standards Update. So it's just like, hey, we know rules change. Just sitting here and listen. We're going to do a quick breakdown on all that. But that's one of what Raphael said, 90-something sessions during all of this, 70 of which were these very specific in-the-weeds topics and things. So there really is just a lot going on, not counting just the networking you get just standing in between sessions or talking to folks when you go down into the whole expo hall area, which is massive this year. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, that was a lot different than last year. Last year was mainly out in the hallway in the common areas, but now, we have a whole exhibit hall that has people coming with booths, and you can get information, you can get swag, you can do business, you can talk to people, you can be like, oh, yeah, hey, I saw you in that session, I got a question for you, or we got a question for people on the commission. So, it's not just us, it's the people that are attending here that really make the conference what it is, and it makes it keep growing. Over 1,100 attendees this year.
Yeah, and this highest number of attendees ever. Again, this is our second year in this event space, which has been so successful that one of the things I think we can have some breaking news right here is that we will be back at Kalahari next year, July 12th through the 14th of 2027. Obviously, registration hasn't opened yet, not even the early bird, because we are still mid-2026 conference, but July 12th through the 14th of 2027, we will be back.
And in a couple of weeks, our committee is going to start working on that conference, because it's pretty much year-round, like Raphael was saying, that this happens. They start planning, in August for the conference is going to be in July of next year. So, and I'm glad you touched on it when we were talking with Joey Bass, is that if you're on the fence, if you're thinking about, if you haven't been to this conference, and oil and gas and the energy in Texas is something that you work with, make sure you attend. Come down here to Kalahari Resorts and Conferences in Round Rock during our regulatory conference, and you're going to learn a lot. And if anything, you can network, like you were saying, with the people that attend and with the Railroad Commission. You can see us. You can see that people at the Railroad Commission are human. We're not just sitting behind computers and things, that we are here, and we're here to help. And I think that's a great thing that we do this, and I'm glad to see it grow every year.
Just being able to put names with faces is huge, even for me, while I'm just kind of learning my way through all these things. At this point now, it's like, oh, I saw you last year. Hey, we talked about this, and you can really kind of move forward with some of those things. So even just for me, this has been a fantastic experience, and this is a fun new way to record. We can go out to the field more, so maybe we need to plan a couple other trips down the road.
Yeah, maybe, and I'm glad to know that I could set this stuff up and it works, so that makes me feel better.
This has been Texas Energy on Track, the official podcast of the Railroad Commission of Texas. We'll talk to y'all soon.